Hi folks, and welcome back to Fishing with Den. Well, I've had some questions and some comments the last few weeks regarding the types of hard pellets I've been using and also the micro pellets, because some of you have noticed that mine are different to what you'd buy in the shops. So today I thought I'd go through what the pellets are, why I'm using them, then we'll talk about how you prepare them, and then we'll dunk them in the tank and we'll show how it works. So first of all then, why am I using different pellets and what are they? Well, the first reason I'm using different pellets is because I buy them in bulk from pet shops or feed stores and they're a humongous amount cheaper. For example, I did some research this morning and my 4mm pellets here I can get between 50 pence and £1 for a kilo, and I buy them in bulk bags. I did a quick look on the internet, only a very quick one, and the Sonia Baits 900 grams, not even a kilo, £5.50 for the bag. Ringers 900 grams, £4.50 for the bag. So if I'm paying 50 pence to £1 for the equivalent of one of these bags, got to be good sense, hasn't it? For the micros, same sort of idea. I'm paying, I'll put it down here, again 50 pence or so for a kilo. And looking at ringers 900 grams, they're being sold on one website I looked at for £4.99. And some Coppins ones, 1.5mm, £4 for a kilo. So that's the main reason, it's cheaper. And the second reason is I live in Australia now, because that's where I've retired to, and you can't buy those over here. But that's irrelevant, isn't it? Well, pretty much. Anyway, take tongue out of cheap Den. So what am I using? Well, first of all, for the hard pellets, I'm using these, which are chicken layer pellets. They're about 4mm. They're not as regimented as the ones in the UK, you know, where they're all exactly the same size. These do come in slightly longer and shorter sizes, but hey, they work for me. And you can use them straight out of the bag. The pellets I'm using for micros are these. These are, I'm trying not to just tip that too far. These are game bird starter pellets, and that's it. That's all I use. Now, I actually flavour and colour my 4mm pellets here with turmeric, and for the micros, they actually smell really nice on their own, and when you put water in them, they smell even better. So I tend not to put anything on them. Right, so preparation wise then, what do I do? Well, obviously, if you're using the UK style pellets and micro pellets, hard pellets don't require any preparation whatsoever. And as I said, you can just chuck these in as they stand, but they're a little bit bland, and I like to do something with them. Let's actually go straight into how you make these pellets, shall we? What we'll do, this is a 1 pint maggot box, and that's a 3 pint maggot box. So I tend to do that. And then if I've got a lid there, hang on, fill it up. Grab a lid. Just make sure they're under water and they're all sunk. And then immediately just drain off. Okay. Oops. Might lose an odd one. But make sure you've got all the water out. Just make sure it's stopped dripping. There we are. Right. So we've done that, and now what we're going to do is to put some turmeric in it. Hold that thought, I forgot the box. So here I am with 1 box of turmeric. You can buy this at the local Indian emporiums. And all you do is immediately, or give or take immediately, is put a dessert spoon in there, put the lid on. This doesn't have to be a maggot box. Just be aware that these things do swell up, so that's why I use the 3 pint box. Give them room to move when I'm shaking them. And that's almost done, but they're a little bit bland looking for my liking, so I'll put a little bit more turmeric in. Seal the box. And just give them a shake. That's better. Okay. Now I tend to transfer these into one of these airtight containers and then just wash this at my leisure. So that's preparation of the 4mm pellets. What we'll do is, if I throw some of these in, just down here. Now, obviously I normally do these the night before, but what's happened just there is that all the turmeric has come off. It hasn't had time to soak in yet. So, in good Blue Peter fashion, I got it right this time. I made these last night, and they've swollen up a little bit. And what we'll do, we'll put these down here. And you'll notice with these ones that they've actually got the infusion of the turmeric. So we didn't get all that sort of cloud there, but of course, if you really want a cloud on the way down, by all means do it immediately. So what you'll also find is that with the pellets that I just put in there, they're still very, very hard. And in fact, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll put some of the standard pellets in as well. One or two just caught in the surface tension. And we'll wait for those to break down. And we'll probably wait half an hour to an hour or so. But you can see they're nicely on the bottom. Hopefully, yeah, they can be seen on this camera. I'm hoping I don't get too many reflections on that one. But those will sit there now and we can watch them break up. I found that turmeric for me works really well. But you don't have to use turmeric. Again, if you go into the Indian emporiums, you can buy garam masala, you can buy curry powder, chili powder. I would caution on the chili powder. I did try that once, and if you get it anywhere near your eyes, it stings, and so I've stopped using that. But again, this is just what I use. There's no reason why you couldn't use liquid flavours or additives or colourings or whatever. Just try them out. As you can see, it only takes a few minutes in a container. You don't have to have a tank like I've got. You can use whatever you've got to hand. So anyway, that's the hard pellets. I quite like the idea that they do break up within, say, 20 minutes, half an hour, maybe an hour on the bottom, depending on the water temperature. But again, we'll see how they actually act on the bottom once they've properly dissolved, if you like. Right. Oh, a word of warning. Where is it? Lost it. Oh, here it is. I don't use these on the hook, on a band or anything like that. So I make up these pellets here. These are my sort of little hooker pellets, if you like. And again, I'll show you those at another point. But today we're talking about sort of hard pellets and micro pellets for bait. Sorry, for chucking in. So that's the hard pellets. Let's now look at doing these. These are the game bird starter pellets, and I've actually got two. And normally, with micro pellets in the UK, if they're 2mm, you might give them a couple of minutes underwater and then drain them off, and then they'll stick to your feeder or whatever. Again, I don't know what you're going to buy if you buy a different bag to me. All I'm doing is showing you the tests I did for what I use. So, if we start off then with these game bird starter pellets, and again, these really do expand quite well. I think that was 250 millilitres. I'll put them into the big container, and what we'll do is put enough water in them so they're underwater. I'm going to use a stopwatch here. Simple reason being, I can't talk to you guys and count to 15 at the same time. But basically, those are all properly underwater, and in 5 seconds from now, I'll be taking them out and draining them off. There we go. So again, just simply drain off all the water you can. Like that. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Make sure it's all off. And when they're done, these will be the pellets I use for shallower areas on the method feeder. Let's say sort of 2-3 feet in the margins or whatever. And a little bit clumpy just for now while they're being done. But basically, I'm going to leave those on one side, and I'm going to get another container. There we go. Put these in here, and we'll do the same procedure, but this time we're going to give it 45 seconds. Okay, so there we go. And the reason for that is that once you put them in for 45 seconds, they actually swell up even more than those ones do, but also they stick to the feeder a bit better, so that you can use these in deeper waters, let's say 6 feet, maybe 8 feet. You could probably use it in deeper water than that, but generally that's what I tend to use them for. Now they've been in for about 25 seconds for the moment, and I can see them actually expanding already. We'll give it to the 45 seconds, and then we're just going to put them on one side, and we're going to wait 20 minutes, half an hour, for them to do whatever they're going to do and soak up all the moisture. So we're actually at 45 seconds now. And same again, just drain off. I'm hoping you can see all this anyway. Right, as I say, it's a bit gloopy at this point, but once they've taken on all the water they need to, we'll put them into the tank there, and we'll show you how they work in practice. Right, so 15 seconds, 45 seconds. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and have a cup of coffee, and we'll come back in 20 minutes, half an hour or so, and we'll see how these work on a method feeder. Okay then folks, well it's actually been about an hour now. I got kind of caught up with phone calls and different things. I'm just looking at this bait down here, and it's pretty much broken up to some extent, but I'll show you that in close up afterwards. Let's finish off with what we were doing with these micro pellets. Still a bit clumpy, so give them a bit of a shake. Like so. These are the ones which were 45 minutes in, so these are quite a sticky pellet. Okay, so that's what it looks like in the box. In fact, these ones should be a bit drier. Yeah, I'll just scrunch these around a little bit. There we go. So yeah, those are definitely a little bit drier. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put them onto a feeder. Standard sort of size method feeder. These ones happen to be homemade 3D printed, but hey, method feeders, a method feeder's a method feeder. Let's see if I can, this is a recipe for disaster, I can see it. But if I take some of this out of here, now this is the early one, isn't it? Yeah. And it's moulded on rather nicely. So there's the feeder. Let's put that on the side. We'll see if we can get that to go down like that. Not quite where I want it. And then while that's doing its thing, we'll get this other one and another method feeder, and we'll put some on here. Okay, punch this on fairly hard. And to some extent it can look a bit like it's turned into ground bait, but watch what happens when it gets underwater. So let's just get that down there. Let me while I clean myself up. And there we go. Takes a little bit of time, but hopefully we're going to get it on this camera. Yeah, I can see what's happening. Certainly this one here has now started to break off quite nicely. This one's also starting to, but there's definitely a difference in the timings. Again, play around with this yourselves, but you can see that falling away quite nicely. Haven't put a bait on with a hook or anything like that for this one, because hopefully you can just see exactly what's going on. And to any potential carp coming along and going, oh yeah, pretty good, that's something they're going to slurp up hopefully very readily. Okay, so we'll leave those two to do their thing. This one here is actually breaking up quite steadily now, as we say. Again, practice with this, maybe give it 5 seconds or 10 seconds, do whatever. But as I say, the 15 and the 45 works for me. Okay, so we've got these breaking up. These ones down here, the actual 4mm pellets, if I go to my ones and sort of make like a carp, you can see how they are producing a little bit of turmeric being kicked off them, which is fine, but they are pretty much still intact, but they're very, very soft. These are the ones I did before, and they'd already got rid of some of the turmeric, but again, they're the similar sort of thing. These ones make a bit of a cloud, I suppose, but as I say, I'd have to say, I really don't like just putting those in straight out of the bag. They're just too bland for me. I'm not big on flavours, but for me, the turmeric seems to work well. So, these are still coming away nicely. That one there is broken up pretty much now. This one's still got a bit of solid stuff in it, but if I come down as a carp and do that, that's clouded water completely. So I don't know if we'll be able to see the other one, but you can see that they are still as pellets in the base of this tank here. I'll come down on this one as a carp, and I can definitely feel that's still a bit more clumpy. But again, certainly something that a carp wouldn't have any kind of problem with whatsoever. It is actually quite soft. I said clumpy, but yeah, everything's relative. But yeah, so that's actually sorted out my hard pellets and my micro pellets. And obviously, as I said right at the start, they're so much cheaper than going to the shops and buying them. Anyway, I think that's it for another one, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you did, give me a click on the like button. If you want to subscribe, again, as always, that'd be great. But till the next time, bye for now.